What's up, you guys? It's Aaron here with 9 Out of Rated Disc Golf, and welcome to part 2 of the vlog. So today's episode is really going to be just talking about kind of a little bit of a recap, talking about my 2020 season, or maybe lack thereof, a little bit of my off season and how that's going, and then really the part I'm really excited about is just to touch on some of my goals for 2021. So yeah, let's just get right to it, guys. So the 2020 season, gosh, that one was weird, wasn't it? I had a lot of things planned for 2020. I actually had a video similar to this that I had shot and was ready to go. I'm like, yeah, let's do this. And then COVID kind of just derailed everything. And suddenly, instead of being able to share my goals for 2020, it turned into, what is 2020 gonna even look like? Are we gonna have a season? Like, what's going on? Like, I had maybe played 1 or 2 events at that point in February. I was looking forward to March, and then things just kind of derailed. Like, nothing could get done. We couldn't get tournaments started because of local guidelines. It was just a tough time to be, trying to improve. Obviously, you have a lot more time to practice, and for a while, I wasn't really able to work that much, so I was certainly out playing, but I didn't really know what for. Like, it was just a little bit of a tough time, but thankfully tournaments were able to get back up in the summer, and I managed to play 12 events last year. I believe 11 out of those 12 I played intermediate, so MA2. To mix of success. I actually played MA2 my first season as well, and I've yet to win at the MA2 level. I've gotten some decent finishes. I've had some good rounds, but it just never really fell my way. This past year, actually, I believe there was at least one event where I was leading after the first round, wasn't able to pull it together, and then one at the end of the year, actually. One of my favorite events, get to play one of my favorite courses, Foundation Park in Centralia. I believe I was tied for second after the first round, and then first, second, and third kind of flipped. So I stayed in second, the guy was in third, ended up winning it, and the guy that was in first ended up going to third. I started off my second round really hot. I think I birdied 6 of the first 7, but then kind of went cold near the end. I think I ended up finishing like 7 down for the round. Had a couple unfortunate bogeys that were pretty demoralizing. A couple shorter holes that you'd think, oh, these are easy birdies or at least pars, and managed to take bogeys. So, so 2020 for me was definitely interesting. One of the biggest struggles that I had was definitely my mental focus. I found myself being put into some not great situations. I had okay shots that had really bad results, and then it just really deflated me. I wasn't able to get out of it. So near the end of the year, I'll use this as an example. My last 6 rounds were really interesting. It gives you an idea of maybe where my peaks were at this past season, and then definitely where the valleys were. I started off with the Smokin' Aces Tour Championship. One of my favorite events of the year. I always look forward to it. First round was at Endicott. I played awful. The winds were terrible. The overall conditions were bad. And this is just going back to what I said. I wasn't shooting terrible. I had good shots, but they just were just a little bit off. And I know you guys know what I'm talking about here. It'll be just a little bit off. It'll glance that tree the wrong way, and all of a sudden you're 60 feet in crap. And so that was just the story of my whole day. My good shots were turning into really bad spots, and I just couldn't get myself out of the funk. I had a really bad day. I believe I shot an 808 rated round, which was easily one of the worst rounds I've ever shot. Came out the next day to New Melly, one of my favorite courses ever, and for a little bit it was starting off about the same. My first couple holes turned into something bad. I was 3 over through 2. Was able to find a little bit of composure, get myself back together, and shot a 944 rated round. It was actually the second or third best round in the division that day. Unfortunately, day 1 was so bad that I still finished near the bottom of the pack, but it was good to see, okay, I know what I can do. Let's just try to calm it down, get into it. I definitely went into a mindset in the second round of like, I'm out of it. So I was trying to just have fun. The first couple holes sucked. If I would have shot even par on those first couple holes, could have been easily the best round I've ever shot as far as a rating goes. But, you know, it is what it is. The second event was actually the one I referred to earlier, the So Ill Showdown in Centralia. I put together 2 really solid rounds. I believe I averaged 940 golf over that tournament. Finished 1 stroke off the lead. Would have been a really cool a win there for sure. I do believe too, I was maybe 1 or 2 strokes back of even winning advance. So it was cool to see that I was up there a lot among most of the amateurs. I felt like I put together some really good rounds there. Definitely looking forward to getting out there again this season for sure. And then the last event that I played last year actually was the Pike County Big Buck Classic. Oh man, where do I begin with this one? The conditions weren't great. It was very windy, it was very rainy. There was even some sleet mid-round, and not many people shot great, but man, did I shoot bad. There were a lot of bad breaks. I had probably 3 or 4 different holes where I was out of bounds by about 3 inches. So it was like, man, there's another stroke. The first course was on a ball golf course. I typically play a lot better in open environments, but man, the wind and the sleet was just brutal. I could not get anything to go my way. Ended up shooting an 807 rated round, and that was demoralizing. That was one of the only events that I've played that I almost left. I typically try to see things through. I'm like, even if I'm playing bad, like, you know, it is what it is, just keep playing, you got another round to go. I was close to leaving that day. I was not having a good time, but I stuck through it. I ended up going to the next course. Shot a bit better. I think I shot like even par at Lake Pittsfield, which was good for a 932 rated round. I got some birdies back to back near the end of the round that kind of brought me back into it. I think that was another situation where my second round was one of the best of the day, so it was nice to have that rebound, but at the same time, how bad the first round was, I was pretty much out of it. But yeah, like, that kind of brings me into some of my goals for the 2021 season. Number 1 in particular is working on my mental game. My mental game has some holes. I often describe it as that snowball effect. One bad thing happens and then it's just more and more and more, and it just doesn't stop. I'm trying to get myself into a better mindset throughout the season so that I don't dwell on those mistakes, because those mistakes are going to happen, but it's like, okay, let's try to rebound. I heard something not too terribly long ago. I wish I could remember who it was from, but it was like, the most important shot is your next one. So even if you make a mistake, like, okay, let's go up to this next one. This is the most important shot. Execute that. Execute that shot. Let's go on to the next one, because the most important shot is your next one. And just, you know, I'm trying to get myself into that mindset to where it's like, even if you make a mistake, don't worry. Your most important shot's your next one. Go up to there, execute it, and move on. All right, and so goal number 2 for my 2021 season is that I want to play 20 PDGA sanctioned events. That was actually a goal of mine for last year. COVID kind of screwed with that a little bit. I ended up with 12, which all things considered, I was pretty happy with. But this year I'm trying to get to 20 if possible. I think so far, just kind of going through scheduling on what's been announced so far, I've got 18 or 19 mapped out that I'm like, yeah, these work. Let's see what I can do along the way. If I can add a couple more, that'd be awesome. Of course, you know, we're still sitting in February, so there's going to be a lot of tournaments throughout the year that haven't even been announced yet. So that's a huge goal of mine, is this year play 20 sanctioned events. All right, and then goal number 3 is that I want to get up to 930 as far as my rating goes. I know that I'm capable of shooting 930 to 950 rated golf. definitely put together those type of rounds, but I really need to work on getting rid of those blow up holes, which kind of goes back into like fixing my mental game. Just really work on, don't dwell on the bad stuff. Just keep moving forward, work on your next shot, and maybe I'll find myself getting out of some ruts a little bit better, and instead of taking double and triple bogeys, maybe even if I'm settling for a bogey, it still helps with your strokes, and then it's going to put together better rounds. So yeah, I'm hoping throughout the year I can get myself to a point where I'm shooting much more consistent golf, and hopefully finish the year at 930. I'm actually challenging myself a lot this year. I will be playing advanced throughout the year when at all possible. The only instance that I would not be playing advanced is if, well, unfortunately, if my rating lets me play intermediate and advanced is full. If there's a situation where advanced is already capped out, no more advanced players, I will play intermediate if it's an event that I really want to play. I understand personally, like, people talk about baggers and whatnot. I have yet to win an event in MA2. However, I do know that with some aspects of my skill set, maybe I shouldn't be playing MA2. I do have pretty decent backhand power. My putting game and the rest of my game obviously needs work, but it's tough to say that I'm an intermediate player when occasionally I can bust out 450 and occasionally even 500 feet of distance. There's not a lot of intermediate players that do that. I don't want to be looked at as a bagger. I mean, you can look at my stats. Here's my PDGA number. Look at it. It's not great, but I want to challenge myself to play with better disc golfers, maybe just learn a thing or two from these guys. All right, and then goal number 4. I would like to, if possible, play well enough to qualify for Amateur Worlds in 2022. One of the reasons that I really want to go hard this year is that Amateur Worlds is actually, I believe it's going to be in Evansville, Indiana, which for me is only about 2.5 hours. So if there was going to be a year where I can, make the trip and make that happen, this would probably be that year. Evansville's really not that far from me. I played a few courses in the area, and there's actually at least one event this year that I would like to play that's going to be focusing on a couple of those courses too. So the more often that I can get out there and play those courses, and if I play well this year and can qualify, maybe it gives me a little bit of an advantage, lets me go in there maybe feeling a little bit more comfortable, and hopefully I can put my best foot forward and actually compete. And then my final goal for 2021 is that I would like to shoot at least one 1,000 rated round. I think right now I've kind of peaked right in the 940, 950 range, which depending on the course, that's really only about 5 to 6 strokes difference, and then I could be maybe pushing close to 1,000. I've definitely played with players that shot 1,000 rated rounds before, and I think that, if I can just smooth out some of the edges on my game, I can definitely accomplish that this year. So that's something that I'm really looking forward to. I would like to get out to some of these courses and shoot 1,000 rated round if possible. I'm actually, at least so far with what I'm scheduling around, looking to play Ledgestone, which is going to be cool. And in MA1 you actually play the Eureka Temp course, which I've played once before, and then this year with a couple other events I'm actually looking to play that course like 5 times. So I'm hoping that by playing these more difficult courses too, it's going to be able to help translate a little bit better to some of my local events. I really want to play well at these courses. I played a flex start at Eureka Temp this past year, actually, and I was the only amateur to birdie the water tower hole, which I thought was pretty cool. So I know that there's parts of my game that can translate to these more difficult courses. Like, I have a good enough arm. If I can dial in good distance and dial in accurate shots, I definitely think that I could be taking birdies where there's a fair amount of other amateurs that won't be. But for me, it's really just about limiting my mistakes and then working on my mental game to, stay focused. Like, don't dwell on those mistakes because they're going to happen. The pros make mistakes. Us amateurs are definitely going to make mistakes. It's really about how can you, battle yourself and battle within so that you can move forward, and then don't dwell on it, because that's been a huge area of concern with my game. You know, one bad thing happens and then that snowball effect takes over. And then suddenly, you know, I'm near the end of the round just deflated, everything sucks. And I don't really want to play disc golf that way. I enjoy playing disc golf. I like getting people into the sport, and I certainly don't want to be that guy that's on the course having a bad time, and instead of being able to look at the bright side or being able to move forward from it, I don't want to drag my card mates down with me. So yeah guys, so those are the things that I'm looking forward to for this year. Listed some goals that I'm looking to accomplish. I'm just hoping for the best. I guess maybe a side goal for the channel, I am looking to get more content out to you guys. This off season's been a little bit weird. I've actually been dealing with a little bit of shoulder problems, so if you watch my last video talking about my beginner series, that was actually the last round that I played, and that's going on 3 to 4 weeks now. So I'm trying not to give my shoulder too many problems going into the season. I may be playing an event here in a week or so, possibly. I'm gonna try to get out here soon to see how my shoulder feels, and if it feels all right, maybe I'll give it a go. Otherwise, I'm probably not going to be playing much for a couple more weeks, so that makes the video portion of the channel a little bit difficult, because, you know, to make a disc golf channel and you don't play disc golf, it makes it a little weird. So hoping that my shoulder works itself out a little bit here soon, so that I can get some more content out to you guys. I definitely want to keep up the vlog. I'm hoping to get a little bit of course footage from some of the events that I play, as long as my card mates are down with it, and then really just going over practice routines. I still want to do course reviews, disc reviews when new molds come out. So I'm definitely looking forward to 2021 and the future of 900 rated disc golf. As you guys may have seen on Instagram, I got this pretty sick hat made. Maybe these will be available for you guys, we don't know. But I'm definitely looking to do a lot of cool things this year. And I appreciate the support that all of you guys have given me for the channel. And so I hope that you stick it out with me as I get all this stuff going on. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Follow me on Instagram. I'll put that down below. Otherwise, guys, thank you for watching. I hope to see you guys out on the course.